Hey, Joel, do you know what I love? Meeting friends after work at a local brewery, maybe gathering around an old barrel or something, sipping a well-crafted, juicy IPA while discussing personal finance.
Matt, buddy, you're totally speaking my language, except I'm pretty sure most peeps in this scenario aren't talking about money with their friends, because that's a super awkward topic.
Why does everyone make it so weird, dude?
I know, right? It doesn't have to be that awkward.
Yeah, man, we like to talk about personal finance, especially weekly in my dining room over a craft beer on our podcast, How to Money.
Whether we're talking about ways to cut your grocery bill, creating side hustles, or traveling the world on less, we're having conversations about personal finance and how it relates to normal people who want to enjoy life and also be money smart.
That's right. We're all about making these topics relatable and enjoyable, so it's something you'll want to talk about the next time you meet up for drinks.
So if you want to level up your personal finance game, then be sure to listen and subscribe on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for How to Money.
Hey, what's going on? It's Steve, and welcome to a brand new Murder Monday. I think we all know the saying that blood is thicker than water. I think that's what the saying is. I don't know right now. But we know that, when it comes to family can be difficult a lot of times. And a lot of times there's a dynamic in even the best families that can quickly turn sour. And it might be because of something small. It could be because of something big. You never know. And this time, something happened in a family's dynamic. But did it lead to murder? I guess we'll find out today. Thanks for subscribing and telling your friends about the podcast. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to start trying to be more and more like Keith Morrison. The thing about Pam. Anyway, here it is. Brand new Murder Monday. August 2011 in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's about lunchtime in the small town. It's the middle of the week, and Marc Despain decided he was going to take his wife out to eat for lunch. She left work, they ate, and she left him at home so she could return to work around 1:30. About an hour later, realizing that she had left a few bills that she forgot to pay, she returned to the house. What she found was a nightmare.
What happened to your husband, ma'am? He's dead. I'm not in the kitchen. Ma'am, I need you to take a deep breath, okay, and tell me what's going on.
I don't know if there's still anybody in my house. Hey, please hurry.
Okay, I'm going to get them out there.
A hysterical Michelle Despain called 911 after coming home to find Marc lying on the floor, shot dead. She's almost incoherent as she tells the operator she's afraid for her own life. It appeared he had been shot by an intruder. It appeared that whoever killed Marc had done so by sneaking in through an unlocked back door. It had all the signs of a robbery, and that Marc must have spooked the intruder, but right away they knew that there was something wrong. In the middle of the day, an intruder breaking into this home and leaving without taking anything of real value, everything about this crime scene seemed just too perfect. Now, something that wasn't perfect in Marc's life was his relationships, specifically one with a member of his family. Marc was a successful real estate appraiser and property investor. He had provided his wife and kids with a comfortable life in an exclusive area in Arkansas. They had a lovely home. They took family trips. Marc and his wife enjoyed buying things for their kids. They took multiple trips a year. Michelle worked at a local bank, as well as kept the books for Marc's real estate projects. Marc had learned the real estate business from his parents, who had owned hundreds of rental properties. Real estate was in their family's blood. But there was bad blood in this family. And when it comes to bad blood, things can get volatile. There had been a problem between Marc and his father, Jack. It all started off as an issue that involved a large sum of money, which is when Marc left his parents' company to start his very own real estate appraisal and investment business with his wife. But Michelle said that from there, things just got worse between them, especially when Michelle found topless photos of their teenage daughter, Brooke, on Grandpa Jack's cell phone. Michelle said after that Marc wanted nothing to do with his father, Jack, and Jack had little good to say about his son. Jack was brutally honest about his son and the problems that they had.
He was hard-nosed. My son, he was not a very good people person. As long as he could get that dollar out of you, he'd turn around, crap on you, and walk away, and that's the way he was.
But he also seemed to be heartbroken. But was he the killer? Did their bad blood run that deep? We'll find out next on Murder Monday. A successful real estate investor, Marc Despain, was found dead in his Arkansas home in August of 2011. He had been shot during an apparent break-in, but there was a lot wrong with this theory and with the crime scene. He had been shot twice, once in the chest and a second time in the head. Police asked his wife, Michelle, for help, and when they spoke to her and even Michelle's father, they both had one name on top of their list as a suspect. Marc's father, Jack. Jack and his son, Marc, had a contentious relationship. Marc, at one time, had been part of his father's real estate business, but a number of money issues created a rift between the two. According to Michelle, in the past few years, Marc had actually viewed her own father, Carl, as more of a father figure than his own father, Jack.
They all know what a good dad and good husband. No hard feelings with any of my family at all.
I've told him more than once he was the greatest man that ever happened to my daughter and my grandkids. He's the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
Police had their eye on Jack, the father who, even with a dead son, acted strange. He had a number of negative things to say about his son, but he also showed true heartbreak over the loss. And then he said something strange.
My suspicion is that, did he finally fall off that he actually done something like that?
Jack thinks that Carl may have finally snapped and killed his son, stating that Marc treated everyone in his life poorly, especially his own wife, Michelle, and even worse, Michelle's father, Carl. Now, Michelle denied the allegations, telling police that Marc was good to her, but investigators would learn that there was even more bad blood in this family because Michelle was not so good to Marc. See, Michelle hadn't been completely honest with Marc. She had been having an affair. Michelle was 33 and was having an affair with a younger man, a 24-year-old co-worker, and she was stealing from the family business to pay this 24-year-old lover's bills, and she had gotten them into significant debt. Marc confronted Michelle about it just a week before his murder, saying that he wanted to end their marriage of nearly 15 years, which is when police found out some good news from Michelle. With Marc dead, she was set to receive a total of $1 million from 2 different life insurance policies. But then the problem. Who was the person that actually killed Marc Despain? Michelle had an alibi. So did Marc's father, Jack. Police got lucky and received an anonymous tip. The caller said someone had been bragging that they killed Marc Despain. A man named Terrence Barker, a known criminal for hire in the area, that had been contacted by an old friend named Johnny. Who was Johnny? Well, Johnny was one of Marc's tenants, and in the months leading up to Marc's murder, he had fallen behind on his rent. And there was one solution. And it came from Michelle's father, Carl. Carl told him to kill Marc. And who made that call? Well, Marc's wife, Michelle. Because for weeks, even months before Marc's murder, she had been telling her father that he needed to kill Marc. On the morning of the murder, she even texted her father saying, "Has to be today." Michelle, her father Carl, the gunman, Terrence Barker, and the tenant who helped connect Carl to Terrence were all found guilty. Carl and the gunman were both sentenced to 35 plus years to life, and Michelle eventually pled guilty to a charge of hindering apprehension and was sentenced to 30 years in prison. I think we all know what they say about bad blood.